Hi, I'm Linda Walters. I work for the Birchip Cropping Group. I've been a research and extension officer there for 5 years now, and over that time one of my main projects I've been working on is the GRDC Barley Agronomy for the Southern Region project. So some of the key messages, I suppose, when we're talking about barley varieties and their performance, it's really important to look over the long-term performance of a variety. So looking at some of our MVT data in the Mallee and the Wimmera over a 6-year average of the varieties really gives you a good indication of where varieties fit and how they perform in a range of different seasonal finishes. So some of our top yielding varieties that are yielding really well across the Wimmera and Mallee are still Highmarsh, Latrobe, Roslyn, Spartacus, Compass and Fathom. And we have seen a bit of a shift in Planet, which is the new variety that's come out of Europe. So Planet has been in MVT for 2 years now. It has only been tested more so in our region in an average to above average year. So it is yielding quite well at the moment too. So Planet is sort of more a mid-maturing variety. So in our phenology trials that we've also been conducting as well, Planet is sitting probably reaching flowering and maturing just slightly earlier than Commander. So it's fitting in between your Latrobe and your really long season varieties like Westminster. In terms of its agronomic characteristics, it's really vigorous earlier on. It has a prostrate growth habit, sort of a plant height similar to your Latrobe and Highmarsh, so a little bit shorter, and a disease package probably a little bit poorer than some of our commonly grown varieties like your Latrobe and Spartacus. We've been conducting weed competition trials for 3 years now. We've got some really solid data, so in 2013, 2016 and 2017. So looking at the different barley varieties and how they compete in the presence of weeds. So in those 3 trials we used oats as pretty much as a surrogate for brome grass as our grass weed and tested the competitiveness of those varieties. So overall we've had some really great results. Last year in 2017 we grouped them more into, I chose varieties to put in the trial based on their plant architecture and growth habits, so we could then group similar varieties into those categories. So 3 years of data has shown that compass type varieties, and what I mean by compass type is they exhibit really fast, quick early vigour. They've got more of a prostrate growth habit and generally sort of that moderate to tall variety all exhibit really good, have a really good competitive nature, so incurring the least yield loss and incurring the ability to suppress weed seed set. So other varieties that would fit into your compass type varieties would be Fathom, Scope, Commander, Planet, which we tested last year, and obviously Compass as well. Some of our poorer competing varieties could be grouped into a Highmarsh type category, so fairly slow early vigour, which is probably one of the most influential factors, combined with that shorter plant height and a very erect growth habit. So we've found that over those 3 years, varieties like your Highmarsh, Spartacus, Latrobe are poorer competitors, incurring higher yield losses and allowing a greater number of weed seeds to get through to that secondary year. So I think at the moment we're probably quite lucky that we've got some really high yielding barley varieties at the moment. So pretty much we've got 7 top varieties that are yielding really well, which I mentioned before. So Compass, Roslyn, Spartacus, Latrobe, Fathom and Highmarsh. And Planet, too. Pretty much you could choose any of those varieties based on yield. They're all yielding very well and very similar. but then it's probably about breaking them down into looking at their different agronomic traits and what's going to fit into the grower's farming system best. So that's when we start looking at the weed competitiveness of the variety. How does it stack up to delayed harvest? Is it susceptible to lodging or head loss? What's its disease package like? Its maturity, and probably another thing that growers look for is the grade of that variety. So at the moment, Latrobe is the highest yielding malt variety, but we've got Compass and Spartacus that are potentially due for accreditation for malt this year, and then Planet is through stage 1 of malt accreditation, so it's targeted for malt accreditation next year in 2019.